Oh, you're on mute.
Oh,
Sorry.
That's all right.
Chairman.
No problem.
Let's start all over again.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for showing up. And first item is the approval of the minutes, April 21st and May 6th. Could I get a motion to approve those minutes? Member Wolrab, second member Beard. Any questions or discussions on any of those? If not, ready to vote, all those in favor say aye. Or raise your hand. All right. Opposed? Thank you very much. All right. No letters from the public?
No.
First item then is 4A1A. This is County Treasurer Becky McNeil, accept and place on file the County Treasurer's monthly financial reports. I would entertain a motion to that effect. Member Metzger, second. Someone? Member Barnett, thank you very much. Okay, I believe Becky is with us by phone. Are you, Becky?
Yes, I am. Hi.
Great. Thanks for joining us. I know you have a number of reports, so you can go ahead and get started.
Okay, the first report is the summary of tax revenue. And you can see the COVID-19 effect there on that income tax number and that PPRT. These are the March receipts that we are seeing here coming through in May on income tax and PPRT, that distribution to the local governments. Unfortunately, we have about a 49.8% drop from $389,659 on income tax last year, this time to $195,632. And the PPRT, our May 19 payment was $418,156, and our May 2020 payment is $229,085. Total revenue, $873,000 compared to $1,255,602 in May of 2019. So you can clearly see the effect of COVID-19. Next month is when we will start seeing the effect in our sales tax numbers, because the March sales tax will be transmitted here in June. So at the July finance meeting, I will have more information on that. Looking at your monthly comparison, obviously May of 2020 to May of 2019, down $382,541. That is the income tax and the PPRT that we discussed. The year-to-date comparison, $4,482,000 in 2020, $4,638,000 here in 2019, and so we are down $156,196. Looking at budget, if you remember earlier here in the year, we were doing very, very well with budget. We were actually coming in a couple $100,000 above budget. So when you look at the budget through the month of May, there's not a huge dip there. We actually are still over budget by $55,789. But we know that's going to change in the next few months as we see the March, April, and May receipts start coming through. The shared sales tax, that again is part of the based off of sales tax, and so it's not going to drop until June. So our numbers are pretty comparative to 2019. And our total sales tax collected here in 2020, $1,553,749, and that is $28,276 above where we were a year ago. The fund balance in the shared sales tax fund as of the end of May, $11,152,951. Property taxes, we were able to issue a property tax distribution out to the taxing bodies at the end of May. As we promised, it was small. It was about $22.1 million that we released on May 28th. The portion to the county was $2,308,954. Property taxes are really coming in right now. We are halfway through our collection cycle for first installment. We have about $69.3 million collected right now, and the escrow files have been coming in as we expected. We got the largest escrow file today. It was about $23 million. And so that actually came in a week earlier than I had anticipated. So there's no delay there with those escrow files. Those are coming through. I know some people were concerned about that, about the cycle of payment with moving the delinquent date to July. So the escrow files are coming through. Any questions on this report?
Member Barnett, I believe you have a question.
Yeah, I was just curious. So are we pretty much on track with where we normally are with, as a whole, property tax payments coming in, or are you seeing a lot of folks taking advantage of, holding it off for a couple of weeks or a month?
It's, I think right now, I mean, the numbers are so big right now, and what we're seeing coming through with lockbox, we're not seeing a lot of holdback, but that's typical right now. I mean, we get the bulk of our payments as we get closer to that due date. So definitely once we pass that June 17th due date, we will be able to look at those numbers and compare them to where we were a year ago, right after that due date. So it's just a little too early for me to be able to tell you. But I do know, I mean, I can tell you that the escrow files are coming in just as we expected they would, and they should. So, because that money has been, put aside by our taxpayers throughout the year into their escrow account. So, obviously at the next meeting, we'll have a little more information on that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Questions on that? I see no one else with their hand up, so why don't you go ahead and go to the next report?
Thank you. The investment report, unfortunately, rates keep going down. The Illinois Funds Money Market had an average rate for the month of May of 0.74. That was 1%, about 1% at the end of April. So rates are still going down. Fortunately, we have plenty of CDs still that are, in that good, healthy 1 to 2% range that's going to help us over the next 6 months. But obviously, our revenue is going to be impacted, and obviously our revenue at the beginning of 2021 is going to be impacted as well, because we would be, as McLean County's property tax money is coming in, we would be setting some of that up in CDs out 6 months, 9 months, 12 months at, a rate of 1% to 2%, and we are simply not able to get that right now. So overall, the investment portfolio is at $55,260,000. So,
All right.
any questions on that report, Chairman?
I see no one with their hand up. Any questions? Okay, next report.
The next report is the Blue Cross Blue Shield report. Again, we have expenses for 2020 for the month of May that are under May of 2019. That could be COVID related, where our employees are just not able to go to the doctor or don't want to go to the doctor as frequently as they have in the past. Our total expenses for 2020 in the self-insured plan, $2,701,893.59. So we're just slightly above our 2019 year-to-date comparison by $74,256.28 there. So I don't have any other comments. The members can ask questions if they'd like.
Any questions on the Blue Cross report? Okay, looks like none. All right.
Okay. The next report is the nursing home. This is a summary on the nursing home. The nursing home's April revenue was $490,909. That is down compared to January, February, and March. I did reach out to the nursing home and ask them if they could share some insight with me as to why that was down. I the nursing home, I can't go into detail, but they were able to tell me that their census numbers were down. And they had some deaths, and they were not deaths that were related to COVID, but they were in a roundabout way related to the situation, because the residents obviously could not visit with their family, and it did create a decline in their census number. So that was the information that was shared with me. Also, they did not get an IGT payment. They got an IGT payment in one of the previous months where the revenue was higher. That did not occur in April. The monthly revenue, $492,000. Their expenses, $504,000. So they had a difference for the month of April of negative $11,664. Their year-to-date revenue, $2,340,822, and their year-to-date expenses, $2,546,649. So their expenses are currently exceeding the revenue by $205,827. The receivable at the end of April was $2,838,661. That is down compared to where they were at the beginning of the year. Part of that is because the nursing home has been able to get some of that old Medicaid money that was due from the state of Illinois in. So that's good for us. And cash is currently at $1,517,697. Again, part of the reason why cash is up, even though expenses exceed revenue, is due to that AR balance coming down and some of those payments coming in. The fund balance for the nursing home at the end of April, $3,632,724, down by $205,827 from the beginning of the year.
All right. Any questions on that report? I don't believe so. Seeing none, we can go on.
Thank you, Chairman. The next report is a summary that we put together. We take about a 200-page report coming in from the county clerk's office after extension, and we build this report up to summarize and provide our taxpayers as well as you, the board, and our taxing bodies with information as to where do property taxes go here in McLean County. And you can see categorically that McLean County receives $36,367,583. The interesting thing about McLean County is that when I go on down to the next report, you'll see that our rate actually dropped, even though our levy went up ever so slightly. Community colleges, $23 million. That was up by 1.3%. The airport authority, they had the largest bump. They went from 2.6 million up to 3.9 million, 45.9% increase there due to bond payments. The school districts, of course, that's where most of the property taxes go that we collect. That almost stayed flat, went down just ever so slightly to $212,753,783, and the other numbers pretty much stayed in line there. Total levy that we're collecting this year, $351,931,452. So it's an increase of $4 million, or 1.16% over prior year. So, and then you can go down and you can see where the funds, how the funds are split between the school districts. We had some school districts go up, and we had some school districts go down. So the Prairie Central reduction there is as a result of that prior year collection being recovered last year, and then of course now they're not dealing with that this year. So The next report is the McLean County government tax rate. And I like to provide this to you because during the course of the budget cycle, there's a lot of focus on McLean County government's tax rate. And you can see that despite all of the discussion, McLean County has pretty much kept its tax rate flat. We've provided you with numbers all the way back to 2008 collection year. And you can see that we've been in that 90 cent to 91 cent range almost throughout the entire time period. This year, McLean County's tax rate finalized at 0.91509. So for every $100 in assessed value, taxable assessed value, our taxpayers are paying 0.91509, and that is down compared to 0.92082. So 92 cents versus 91.5 cents. Okay.
All right. Any questions? Member Beard?
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Ms. McNeil. And I do want to, I guess, make this point, and because I think you brought it up where it came up last year, is that when we pass a budget and, when it's first presented and then we vote on it, that is prior to all of the property tax appeal processes going through. So I think last year and maybe the year before too, we've passed a budget with what we would anticipate being a flat tax rate. But then after that, there may be, depending on how the appeal process is, the finalized rate comes out to something slightly different. So that explains some of the variation here. And that's just a result of the timing of the process. Is that a correct understanding?
You are correct. The Supervisor of Assessments office, they hold all of the Board of Review hearings, and those are finalized, or those continue to run through December. So when you're voting on a budget in November, there are still several appeals that are pending, hearing through the Supervisor of Assessments office.
Excellent. Thank you. I know sometimes those are big ones with the they can be big ones with some of the corporate or apartment complexes, and so that I guess would change this number more so than an individual homeowner.
Yeah, I'm not involved in that. I don't get reports on that, but I do know it's a very active process because obviously we see the number of people coming in during the month of December to come in to go to their Board of Review hearings.
Any other questions? I appreciate you doing this. This is really interesting, and I think that it's too bad the general public doesn't take the time to look at this. Is this available somewhere? Is this on the
It's on my section of the website, and under the treasurer, we've got it out there. I think actually when you go to McLeanCounty.gov and you go to financial reports, there might be a link that says treasurer, which will take you on over to this type of information as well. So we have other information out there on the website, part of transparency, where we, capture this, as well as where do your taxes go, as well as our sales tax information. And also, as far as McLean County government's tax rate, we also put a diagram out there for our taxpayers to see where their McLean County government taxes go. So we break it down, by fund for McLean County government. So.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Any questions on that? Okay, that is the last report. So we have a motion and a second to approve these and go ahead and place on file. Any more discussion? If not, ready to vote, all those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Motion carries. Ms. McNeil, you have anything else?
No, I do not at this time. Thank you.
All right, do any of the members have any questions for Becky? Okay, well, keep bringing in those taxes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next item we have is the Kathy Michael County Clerk, and I believe she is here by phone. We have one item, B1A, request approval of an Illinois State Board of Elections voter registration state grant 2020 acceptance agreement and addendum. Would someone like to make that motion? Member Barnett, second. Member Beard. Kathy, would you like to go over that?
Can you hear me?
Now we do. Yes.
That's the usual, which we are very happy to receive each election cycle. So it's about, I believe, $70,000 that we will be getting to apply to certain expenditures we've had for elections. So it's a standard grant that we get.
All right. Is it about the same amount every year?
Well, I'm not positive. It fluctuates depending on how much they have. And I know that we go over a little bit, legitimately, obviously listing all the expenditures that can fall under that. Because sometimes if a county doesn't use all that they are allotted, I think they give us a set amount. I don't have it right in front of me, but I think they say, okay, you've got $70,000 that we're going to be able to give to McLean County. However, list all of your expenditures that you can, because some counties, believe it or not, don't have use for all of their funds. So any excess funds will get distributed to other counties. So I think we estimated or turned in about $72,000 to $75,000 worth of bills, and we'll get approximately $70,000. So if there are extra funds after everybody gets paid, we hopefully will even get a little bit more than that.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about this? Member Metzger?
So this is a kind of a reimbursement grant. So this pays for the previous election cycle?
That's correct. We have to turn in receipts from those. And in the packet, it kind of lists all the things that we have to go through to meet. Yes.
Anyone else have any questions? All right, well, let's go ahead and vote on this then. All those in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, do you want to go over this email report on what's going on in your office?
Only if anyone has any questions on it. I thought I'd whip out a quick review. We've been so busy, obviously, that I detailed some things. Not everything is listed in here, but if anybody has further questions, well, feel free to ask.
All right, Member Walrab?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just wondering, Ms. Michaels, if you would expand a little bit on the topic of vote centers and tell us more about that.
Well, I don't have a lot of information on that except that it was in the bill. And so a vote center it's kind of like early voting, where anybody registered in the county in our jurisdiction can come in and vote on election day. So we are mandated now to have a vote center. The only problem, and I don't mean that it's a problem really, I've been in discussions with Paul Shannon, and we really both agree that we need to have it together. We don't just want our jurisdiction to have a vote center and then City of Bloomington voters come and we have to turn them away. So right now the challenge is finding a location. We've reached out to the City of Bloomington. The Bloomington Election Commission prefers to keep it downtown Bloomington. I wanted it at the mall. They didn't want to go out that far. So we're kind of considering that. We don't even know what's going to be available at this time. But Paul Shannon suggested the arena. And we don't even know if it's available, but we reached out to Mr. Gleason and are awaiting a reply of that being a possibility because BEC wanted to keep something more in the downtown area. We don't object to that. I, again, would prefer the Eastland Mall, but who knows what's going to happen in the future. But we have to decide on one vote center location for election day.
And this would just be for election day then?
That's correct. We would have the usual early voting sites. And again, remember that those start at least one location, which is usually the government center, for 40 days before the election. And we hope to have additional early voting sites as well.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions on her report? All right. How about any of the reports that you received in the packet? Any questions on any of that? All right, very good. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to give you one quick example of the marriages, which everything's gone very well, but normally we'll have, and just rough estimate here, 80 to 90 marriage license requests in April, and I think we had 9. So that's kind of an example, and I think that goes to tell us all that we're going to be extremely busy in the next couple of months as folks are redoing and replanning their marriages and coming back in to get their marriage licenses. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next we have Marshall Thompson, Director of Animal Control. She has no items for action. There are monthly reports. I assume if there's any questions, our administrator would be glad to answer those.
I'm going to try my best, and I'm sorry, Chairman Soldner, I just learned that Ms. Thompson is listening, via live stream, but if we need to ask her anything specific that I cannot answer, we can text her, but she was unable to join us this evening. So hopefully her report is thorough. She's such a ray of sunshine and knowledge about her department, so I'm not going to do her justice, I'm certain, but if anyone has questions, we will certainly reach out to her if needed.
Does anybody have anything right now? Okay, hopefully the cats and dogs are staying healthy.
I think they are.
All right.
I haven't heard anything to the contrary, so thank you.
All right, next is the Michelle Anderson, County Auditor, D1A, General Report. Again, no action items. Does anybody have any questions for the auditor?
I do know, Chairman, that our auditor will be joining at the Special Finance Committee meeting on Monday. And I told her as much today that, she was welcome to join us. I don't see her on the square, but she was willing to join, and I encouraged her more so to join on Monday.
Okay.
So.
All right, we'll move on then. Finally, E1A, Economic Development Council update. You should have got an email with that information. I will let Ms. Rodriguez go ahead and start on that then.
Thank you, Chairman Soldner. So yes, membership in your packet, there was a memo from Patrick Hoban of the EDC, and he did not join us this evening, but can be texted should you have any questions relative to the information contained. As you can see, he gave an application update for the loan program, sent out packages to 13 interested businesses, which I think is hopeful. He only at this point has one back that is completed in full. And so we are continuing to work with those other interested businesses. And then just last week commenced a second round of marketing for the program as well. And that's detailed in the last paragraph of the memo to you.
Does anyone have any questions on that report? Okay, I don't see any.
Great.
Let's go on then with the report on recent employment activities.
Yes, sir. That is found on page 22 of your package. And as always, I can try to answer questions that you might have about our updates relative to hiring during the month of April 28th through May 27th, really the month of May.
Does anyone have any questions? All right, very good. Anything else to report?
I would like to share, Chairman Soldner, that we did send out a press release relative to our approved by you all participation in the Downstate Small Business Stabilization Program through the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. We placed it on our website, and Mr. Hoban is also aware of the timeframes relative to what's detailed in that press release, as he will be assisting applicants in filling out the lengthy application for that program. And so we will definitely keep you updated. I wanted there to be a lag time in between the release of the press release and the commencement of the receipt of applications, because I want people to navigate through the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunities website. There is a link in the press release, which is also on our website, to the webinar that trains and teaches us how to fill out the application. So in addition to Mr. Hoban and his staff assisting applicants, that is out there as well for self-teaching. So in essence, we will be accepting applications, I believe, next week through the end of June, and then we will be holding the requisite public hearing on June 30th, and that will be done all via GoToMeeting, and we will go from there. I did see, and I shared this with Chairman Soldner earlier today, that some of our counterparts are doing what they are calling a second round of this. So those counties that participated in it a little earlier than us have now just last week posted round 2, and I need to research that a little more, but I find that to be hopeful, so that perhaps if some of our small businesses who qualify for this program should be in need perhaps later in the year. I know that this program goes through December 31st at this point. And so county administration will do well to research if we are also able to do a round 2, because I think that would give more opportunity to small businesses in need.
All right. Any questions on any of that? Okay, before we pay bills, I was going to ask if any member has anything else you want to talk about, or any questions? Member Walrab?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was just going to ask Ms. Rodriguez if she could prepare for next month, maybe an update on our budget and our revenue and our expenses, so we could sort of track where we're at. It'll be a 6-month period that will be through our budget by next month, and just kind of see if we could do a little bit of, take some account of where we stand. We see that, right now we look good, but our information lags, obviously, what the real economy is doing. I did see that our unemployment figures for Bloomington Normal were doing better than most places in the state, but we're still at nearly 13% unemployment, which is very sad. So, so if we could maybe put that together with how our real estate, our property taxes have come in, and sort of get a feeling for, literally where we stand for the year, that would be very helpful to us.
Absolutely, we can do that. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody have anything else? All right, let's go ahead and pay bills. We have $1,308,986.91, both prepaid total and fund total. I would entertain a motion to pay those bills. Member Metzger, second member Wolrab. Any questions? All those in favor say aye or raise your hand. Opposed? All right, thank you very much. And lastly, again, we are having a special finance meeting Monday. Is it 4:30 also?
Yes, sir.
At 4:30. I believe, have you sent the link out? She has not, okay. But in general, it's about talking about our audit, and if you'd like to mention something, go right ahead.
Absolutely. I truly appreciate the membership's willingness to have a special meeting on Monday after our discussions with our outside auditor, Clifton Larson Allen. It became apparent that some of the challenges of conducting this audit completely remotely were coming to fruition in such a way that nothing was going to make the perfect storm to get you the document tonight. What we do know is we're going to send you a draft document, likely right after this meeting or sometime in the morning. And then the plan is that on Monday, when we convene, you will be given the final as well as a memo that details any of the changes that CLA finds between my distribution of the draft to you and your receipt of the final document. And we just appreciate it because I know it's been all hands on deck here as well as with Clifton Larson Allen. And we did not want to take any chances in doing this any later than prior to executive committee. And so I know that we are appreciative. I believe Clifton Larson Allen is absolutely appreciative. And so that's what you have to look forward to study over the weekend in case you needed something to do.
All right. Member Metzger?
I'm assuming even though there is a delay and it's taking longer than we would have what we predicted, the cost is a flat fee based on what we negotiated, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Anything else? If not, meeting's adjourned. Thank you all. We will see you on Monday.
Thank you.